Well, welcome back to our kitchen here at Pasta Nostra USA. We're at home and I'm going to be cooking up a lunch for Enzo today, so I thought I'd like to share it with you, and thanks for stopping by. We're making gnocchi alla Romana, which is Roman gnocchi. It's not actually the typical gnocchi that you may be more familiar with, which are those tiny little dumplings of potato. This is a dish, a plate of very simple ingredients, all brought together in the most amazing dish. I'm going to pop a little photograph of it up for you in just a second. And there it is. It's ever so easy to bring together. It's so economical, I can't even begin to wrap my head around it. So I'm going to show you what we're going to just go through the ingredients very quickly. They're all down there listed below. I've done a conversion for you because I work in grams. So we're going to start with semolina. We use it all the time. This is used for making pasta and breads a lot of the time. But today we're going to use it, and we're not going to use all of this. This is 600 grams of semolina. I'm only going to use 250 of them. We need a couple of egg yolks, some Parmesan cheese, some salt, some butter, and some milk, and some pecorino. That's it. That's it. How simple is that? So, without further ado, I'm going to crack this sucker open and weigh out 250 grams of semolina flour. Now, semolina flour is very, very coarse. It's a little bit like cornmeal. I've never actually seen cornmeal in real life, but I'm told it looks like cornmeal. While I'm going to measure out that, we're going to put a pan of 1 litre, which is about 4 1/4 cups of milk, and we're going to bring it to the boil. So I'm going to get that going. Just pour that in here, and as you can see, I'm using quite a big open pan. There's a really good reason for this, because you're going to be mixing everything and using this pan to do it with. All right, that's on. And what we need now is 250 grams of semolina flour. There you go, 250. Look how much I have left. The dish we're going to do will serve about 4 people. In fact, I would say more like 6 people, and you can use it hot or cold, so it really is a lovely all-round dish. Let's put that away. So here I've weighed out 250 grams of semolina flour, and I want to show you exactly how much we used. Hardly any. While the milk is coming to a boil, and I'm not going to bring it completely to a boil, but I'll show you that in a moment. We're going to add 1/3 of the butter. Don't worry if it's not exact. Just going to take 1/3 of it, pop it in there. We're going to need the rest for later. And the salt. I'm just going to mix that in while the milk is warming. The milk is going to come to a boil sometime soon, so we're going to start adding the semolina now, and you want to try to do it in a steady stream. Basically, don't be too worried about it, just don't dump it all in at the same time. So we're going to just start adding it and mixing it as we go, and really that's what your whisk does. It'll help you separate any lumps that might form. Okay, now you want to try and work all those lumps out as fast as you can. I'm going to turn the heat down to just above low so that I don't burn anything. And as you can see, it's already started to thicken. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Sweep it all up from the sides because that's where the loose milk is. You can see now why I chose a big pan, not just so you could see it okay, but I find it actually easier. You could use a big pot. If you find that easier, go ahead. Now it's all starting to thicken. I've got it on a low heat still. Be patient. This gets very, very thick. It's going to form a lovely mass of paste. Beautiful. Now, when it gets a little bit unruly, I'm going to swap from the whisk to a wooden spoon, and I think I might just do that now because I can tap it off quite easily now. Right, over to my trusty wooden spoon. We're going to keep moving it around. As you can see, it's got beautifully thick. It's a very rich dish. I know there seems to be quite a lot of butter, but really it's a meal in itself. The Italians serve this as what they call a primi, which would be a starter dish before you start eating roast chicken and stuff. So this would be served as if it was a pasta dish, or a soup dish, or risotto. They're all what they call primis. So they're starter dishes. Look at that, that's beautiful. Got it still on a low heat. Now at this stage what I want to do is add my egg yolk. I'm going to turn that off. Now I don't want you to worry that the egg yolk will cook. You're going to stir this in very, very quickly. And I've got a little bit of egg white still attached to my egg yolk, and I'm not going to be really too worried about that either. Okay, in it goes. Just pop it up on the top. Whisk it in. Comes out a beautiful yellow colour. Apparently the egg yolk is optional. So too is nutmeg, which helps this dish turn into something else. Nutmeg with creamy dishes like this is beautiful. But I'm not going to use it here today because I don't actually have any. Alright, so the egg yolk has been incorporated. I've still got it on a sort of low heat still. And as you can see, it sort of cleans away from the pan. Just one pan dish, how great is that? Alright, now I'm going to add all of the Parmesan cheese. There we go. And we're going to mix that in best you can. You want the Parmesan cheese to pretty much touch everything, and it will eventually melt into your paste. So there you have it, stage one. And then we're going to turn all of this off and move to stage two. Now once your paste is done, you're going to divide it into two and just rip off 2 square pieces of parchment paper. And here's what we're going to do. It's very, very warm, so just using your hands, you're going to form a rough cylinder. And then when you can't use your hands anymore, let the parchment paper do the work for you to form a log. Like so. Now it's quite wobbly. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll it up and pop it into the fridge, where as it cools it will set. And that's going to make it easier for us to cut into those discs that you see in the dish. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes. Well, my 20 minutes is up for setting up our gnocchi paste. But I've left it in there a little bit longer because it's still warm, and actually the colder it is, the easier it is to manage. And because we need to cut it into little slices. So while I'm waiting on that to cool down a little bit more, we're going to prepare a baking dish. I've just got this ordinary Pyrex one, and I find it fits nicely in this one. I have no clue what size it is. 3/4. I can just see it through there. Oh, here we are. 13 by 9 by 2 inches. That's what this dish is. What we're going to do is we're going to take another third of the butter. So we broke our butter down into thirds, or thereabouts, and I'm going to liberally cover and smear this dish with butter. Yes, it's a lot of butter, but everything tastes better with butter. Real butter, not unsalted, proper butter. So I've liberally coated this dish with, I want to say about a third, but it's not actually. So we've got just over a third of butter left. Right, that's ready. I don't have to go all the way up to the sides, just a sort of halfway, and you'll see why in just a moment. There we go. Prepped. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the oven on. Now, I don't know about you, but I do talk about my oven quite a lot because it's quite important. I have a number of different types of styles in which I can cook in this oven. Convection, roast, boil, bake, and they're all actually quite different. I'm going to set this to roast, which is going to give me heat from the top because I want the gnocchi to bake on the top. This dish is crispy on the top and all soft on the bottom. So I'm going to set my oven to 395. I'll write the conversion down there for you. And by the way, if you do enjoy us here in our kitchen, and we'd love to have you, just subscribe and like and comment, ask questions, do whatever you need to do. I'll do my best to respond to you as fast as possible. Meanwhile, let me go and put my oven on. Alright, so this is our first roll. Let me unravel it for you. There she is. Actually, I can shape her up a little bit more to be a little bit more round. We want little discs if possible. So I'm getting this out just a little early. But what we're going to do is we're going to slice this up into, I think they're about 1/4 of an inch, I think, maybe half, I don't know. You decide. So we're just going to slice through this. And like I say, it is easier to slice this when it is cooler. But for our purposes, this is still warm. And Enzo's going to be home soon and he'll be starving. It's nearly lunchtime. So now it's time to arrange them into our baking dish. And take the little end, and I'm just going to use those for the corners. So you're just going to layer your gnocchi discs one on top of another, just in a pretty little arrangement. Don't worry if it starts to fall apart. Just gather it up and continue layering these pieces into your dish until the whole bottom is covered. coming down our end piece, corner. While we're layering these in, and shovel them along, they're actually quite maneuverable. Let me talk to you about where you can find this recipe and more written down. If you go to pastanostrausa.com, the link is below, and we have a link there to recipes. You'll find this recipe there, and plenty of other ones too. Now, I'm going to rearrange these so I make sure that this little hole is filled. Where shall I steal one from? I'm going to steal one from here. Right, now we've arranged our gnocchi. I'm sure you'll make a neater job than I did. But really, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's all going to get eaten, so it doesn't matter. What we're going to do now is brush this liberally with the rest of the butter that we have. Now I'm going to pop the butter in the microwave for just 30 seconds to melt it, to enable me to brush it all over the top. Now, using my trusty biggest brush that I have, we're just going to brush every single piece of gnocchi that you can see exposed with butter. Now the wonderful thing about this is it's the aroma of this in the kitchen when it's cooking. And if you're a cheese lover, you're gonna love this. Oh, I think I can shuffle that one around a little bit. Anyway, my oven hasn't come up to temperature yet, so I'm not wasting any energy. Cover that completely until you've used up all the butter. Let's push that one down a little bit. If you think I've missed a bit, just let me know. Feel free, step in. Now, most of us are working to a budget. I know we do here. We're no different to anybody else. I'm just going to lift that up to make a layer. Okay, there we go. This is a really economical dish. Really economical. What have I used? A bit of flour, a bit of milk, a bit of cheese, some salt. And the oven's on. That's it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is grate some pecorino cheese all over the top of this. So using my trusty grater, it's about 40 grams of pecorino, and our pecorino comes courtesy of Italian Hills. Thank you so much for that. This stuff is wonderful. This is sheep's cheese, and then the Parmesan cheese is cow's milk cheese. Beautiful combination. It's the pecorino, I think, that really sets this off. So it's about 40 grams. We're just going to, you want to grate quite a lot over the top. Just make sure you try and distribute the pecorino as evenly as possible. And already it smells absolutely wonderful. I don't know what 40 grams actually looks like, because when I do this, I never weigh my pecorino. I just grate it on the top and think, missed a bit. Missed a spot. Okay, a little spot there. Oven's nearly ready. So let me show where are we at with my oven. 349. Nearly there. Okay, let me show you what we've got. There you are. It's all ready to go into the oven. 395. It's only going to take 20 minutes in the oven. And it will be beautifully browned, but we're going to brown it a little bit more after that under the grill. I can't wait. Hark! Oven's ready. I have the shelf dead center of the oven because I don't want it browning too much. I need it to bake. So shelf, dead center, heat coming from the top, and into the oven it goes for just 20 minutes. And we'll be right back. Timer's gone off, so let's go and have a look at our gnocchi alla Romana and see where we're at. Okay, I've just turned the oven off because I'm going to set it to broil, which is grill. But look at this so far. It's sizzling. Can you hear it? It's beautifully browned on top, but we're going to brown it just a little bit more. It smells so wonderful in this kitchen. I can't tell you. I can't wait for Enzo to get home because he'll know what I've cooked. He loves this stuff. So 20 minutes in the oven at 395. We're going to put it under the grill now for around 10 minutes, possibly not that much. You just need to keep an eye on it. I'm going to put it in for 7 and then we'll take a look at it again. We'll be right back. My grill must be very, very strong. I put the timer on for 7 minutes and actually rescued it at less than 5. So, like I say, best to keep an eye on it. Now you can see what's happened is it's browned off beautifully. It's still sizzling. So as it cools, all of the butter that is sizzling around the pan there is going to be reabsorbed up into the gnocchi alla Romana. And it's best not to serve it straight to the table at this point because it's far, far too hot. So best to let it rest for at least 10 minutes whilst it quietens down and makes its mark in the air around the kitchen and dining room. But here you are. Gnocchi alla Romana, Roman gnocchi. One of the most simple dishes you'll ever have the delight to put together, and your family will love it. So until the next time, from our kitchen to yours, have a lovely day. Arrivederci.